What is up, peoples? What a motherfucking weekend that shit was. What up, Nick? What up, Daniel? Yes, yes, yes. That was the main reason I wanted to get on. Now that Mcgregor is done with his boxing venture, he is going back to MMA, and he wants Diaz. And he wants him under his own terms. What that means, no clue. Most likely thinking weight, thinking, yeah, wait and time, right? So I could have swore it was under his terms the first two times as well. But hey, that's MMA for you. So let's get into the good stuff. So you guys see the fights, see the updates. Personally, I hit up Sherdog and watch it round for round, see what's going on. But I got quite a bit of highlights. It pretty much went exactly like I thought it would. First 5 rounds, McGregor actually put it on him. I would say he won. I'd say he won 4 of the 10, to tell you the truth. But being the bigger man, after that 4th round, 5th round, I knew Conor McGregor was gonna tire out. But hey, when you really look at the big picture of it, Conor McGregor being 0-0 at pro boxing went against the best boxer there is, 15-0, Floyd Mayweather. You got to put it up for him. He is the best boxer now. I'm sorry, I hate it, but that's just the way it is. But for the most part, I was actually surprised that Conor lasted so long. I thought after he tire out, then Floyd would put it on him, ended maybe an 8. I'm surprised he made the 10. And then the other part of it is he didn't get knocked out, so that's good. A lot of people are saying he got stopped. It was stopped a little early, but that was Conor's saving grace, to keep his talking going. Yet he was still humble at the end, like he usually is. So he's back to the UFC. He wants the trilogy fight against Nate Diaz. Now, do you guys think that Nate Diaz McGregor is going to draw like he did the first 2 times, or do you think after this Mayweather fiasco, pay-per-view will go down? Because it's going to be on pay-per-view. Matter of fact, I'm surprised Conor McGregor's fighting. I know he walked away with at least 100 million. Even though he lost, he still walked away with 100 million, and he still wants to fight. That's amazing. Yeah. So in the trilogy, who you guys got? Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor. Any picks? Anybody? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick Diaz on that one. Yeah, the fight will be in December. It looks like. Yeah, they're saying he can't fight till October 26th. So he wants to fight in December. He wants to fight as quickly as possible. He said. And I haven't seen anything yet. I don't think Nick has signed anything or even said anything about it yet. Uh, Nick, I don't know, man. Diaz, but Connor may have a chance. Honestly, I think Connor's looking at that fight to be the comeback for the Mayweather loss, but I don't think he has it. I don't think he'll be able to beat Diaz again. It wasn't like he knocked him out. It was a pretty close fight between the two for the last one. Um, and both the Diaz brothers, they're constantly training, so it's not like he stopped boxing. Daniel, what if he fights Nick instead of Nate? I don't know. You know what? To be honest with you, I honestly think that Nate's the better fighter now. Um, my apologies. Let me go do that right now. I think that Nate's actually probably the better fighter now. I mean, it's been a long time since Nick's actually been in the ring. So when you really look at it, do I think he's going to be able to stand up with Connor? I don't know. That's a good question. I never actually did not think about if Nick fought. Hmm. Uh, yeah, Nick. They're both good. Yeah, they're definitely both good fighters. But when was the last time Nick fought though? Daniel, Nick can stand with Nate. I honestly think between the two, I think mainly because Nate's been more active. Um, Nate Diaz is actually probably, I think he's a better fighter now. I still think he has that he's my older brother thing going, so he'll never say it. But they're not stupid. If Nick thought he could make some money, he would have been fighting by now. Daniel, 40-year-old Floyd just whooped Connor. Yeah, but that 40-year-old has 49 fights with zero losses. I don't think how Mayweather fights that 2 years off made any difference at all. Um, like I said, I never was going to take it away from Floyd. Um, my only thing was is that I know Connor hits hard, so I knew that if Connor could land a good one, which actually surprisingly he actually laid put some really good ones on Floyd, and Floyd didn't go down at all. Um, but I knew after the fourth, fifth round, Connor had no chance. He was any MMA fighter that does rounds. If they do 5+ rounds, I don't care if it's in training. I don't care if it's in a sanctioned match. They're gonna get gassed. They're I hate Daniel. I hate Floyd for like 20 years, by the way. Yeah, I don't like Floyd Mayweather at all. I don't even like boxing at all. That was the main reason there was no chance in hell I was paying for it. Yeah, Nick, that's the big story of the whole event. I think that's bigger than Floyd actually winning because he stood 10 rounds against boxing's best, really. Now, if you flip that around and you put Mayweather against, let's say, we're not going to say Connor. Yeah, you know what? Let's say Connor. The It would be done within one round. Nick, they said the ref could stop the fight if he feels it needed to be after the fourth round. From what I was, from what I heard, he wanted to stop the fight in the eighth round, um, but Connor said he was good, and his coaches said he was good. Um, Daniel, I watch All Fighting. Stopped paying for it years ago. Yeah, I don't unless it's a really intriguing fight. I won't even think about paying for it. I'd rather watch the play by play on SureDog. That's actually almost better than paying the money. Daniel says the fight looked rigged. I absolutely do not believe it looked rigged. I think it was a good fight, surprisingly good fight. Of course you do, Nick. You think everything is conspiracy. Everything. Daniel, Mayweather versus CM Punk in the UFC. I I'm going Mayweather. Tell you the truth, uh, I don't think I think CM Punk's still a white belt, and if he is a blue belt, it was a blue belt to be a blue belt in the UFC, if anything. I know, Nick. He did a hand sign after the fight. You do realize that everybody except for Flat Earth Nick apparently is a Freemason to you? Freemason or Illuminati. Daniel, I'm never betting against Mayweather. Foolish. Well, that's for sure because I'm almost 100% positive Mayweather will never in his life step in the ring again. Nicholas, not everyone, just the ones on top. Dana White's on top, so is he? Yeah, in the long run, like I said, I don't believe it was fixed at all. It went exactly like I knew it would. Um, but that's just because I break down fights real smart. I'm smart like that. um, what do you guys think about this John Jones failed test? He actually came out with a tweet on um, on Sunday, which kind of seemed weird to me. Um, it wasn't it wasn't exactly the tweet you would expect someone to tweet out. Um, John Jones tweeted on Sunday afternoon. Uh, Times like this remind me how blessed I truly am. So, so much to be grateful for. Now, that seems odd to me for someone who's facing or who could be possibly facing a 4-year suspension and his title stripped. Yeah, because as far as as far as I know, and I'm concerned, John Jones looks like he's done with the UFC. Um, I couldn't imagine it being a false positive test. Um, I sure as hell couldn't imagine after failing 3 of his last 4 tests, um, any any leeway coming to him. That's just fucking crazy to me. When I heard that he failed the last 3 or 4, I was like, whoa. And he actually failed the test that came after the weigh-ins. So in between weigh-ins and fight night is when he popped dirty for those for steroids. Daniel, he's bulking up for WWE before he checks less work. Yeah, that may be his next step. Him and Ronda Rousey could go to WWE because they have no room. There's no room for them in the UFC anymore. Oh, I got one for you guys. So Dana White's whatever the fuck you call it, Dana White's signing amateurs for no reason. Um, the fight night, Tuesday night fight night, whatever the hell it's called. I'm not sure if you guys knew it. Snoop Dogg and Buttface himself. Man, his name is slipping my mind right now. Uriah Faber. There you go. Uriah Faber and Snoop Dogg. They're doing the commentary, or it's actually a side commentary. So on TV they don't see it, but you can go online and listen to their commentary. Um, seems like almost every UFC fighter wants Snoop Dogg fired. Um, Mainly not for the smoking, not for the drinking, but for his pure lack of MMA knowledge. Um, what's really pissing off UFC fighters right now is the fact that he called DC a crybaby after his loss against John Jones. Um, I know for a fact that they've been banned from smoking weed backstage, so that's why I don't think it's that. Um, the drinking, I don't. I think they're still doing it, but I don't think they're allowed to say they are anymore. But personally, to me, I feel like who gives a shit. I've actually seen the commentary. It's funny as shit. I would never watch it for MMA knowledge. I would watch it just for pure entertainment. Yeah, so that's that with Snoop Dogg. I don't really think whether he's there or not, it really makes a damn difference. Um, what else is going on in the UFC? I'm gonna skip to UFC 215 and go to UFC 216. Uh, Tony Ferguson's going against Kevin Lee. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I have no idea in hell how the hell Kevin Lee got into a chance for an interim belt. Like, who the fuck has Kevin Lee fought to get an opportunity like that? Personally, I think Tony Ferguson uh, squirmed his way into this fight almost like a guarantee, like almost a guarantee belt for him. And as far as I'm concerned, Tony Ferguson is going to kill Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee is nowhere near his ready. Um, Daniel, because Khabib can't make weight. Khabib not only cannot make weight, honestly, from what I was watching, not only can he not make weight, but he can't. He's having trouble making making the 185 right now. I think Dana White said he was walking around at 191 at his lowest at the moment, and he was supposed to report to the UFC headquarters to speak with nutritionists and some other people to help him with his nutrition, and he just bailed on it. He didn't even show up. As far as I know, he didn't even get on the plane to go to Vegas. As far as what I was watching. Daniel, he eats a lot of snacks. Yeah. Um, I'm not sure if you guys watch Robin Black. Um, After he missed weight, he did an interview with Robin Black, and they sat down at a table and literally ate for like 2 hours straight. It was fucking crazy. Um, I don't think he's gonna fight in the UFC. I think Dana White's gonna get so fed up to a certain point where he's gonna say fuck it and drop him. Not sure if you guys noticed, a lot of guys, they've been dropping a lot of, like, a few guys in the top 10 rankings are gone now and headed over to Bellator. Nicholas, at least the Connor Floyd fight wasn't like Kimbo and Dada's fight. That is very true. I Shit. You want to talk about I believe Bellator has been fixing fights, because between the Kimbo and Dada fight and the Shamrock Kimbo, that was ridiculous. How is a guy who has subpar ground game tap out a guy who is a black belt wrestling fighter? That makes zero sense. But that's also why I refuse to talk about Bellator. They're subpar, and they wish they were UFC. And that's all I have to say about that organization. Um, Also on UFC 216, uh, co-main will be Paige Van Zant versus Jessica I. That's going to be a badass fight. That's also going to be for the new 125-pound women's division belt. Or it's not going to be for the belt. It's going to be for the number one contender for the belt, which I'm assuming they will announce who's going to hold the belt or going to be fighting for the belt. I'm not really sure what they're doing with that. Um, yes, yes, yes. Rest in peace, Kimbo, for sure. Um, but I do know those two ladies like to scrap, and apparently, I'm not sure if everyone's noticed, but the the women's divisions have actually been a lot better than a lot of the cards we've been seeing lately. Daniel, Paige is lame. Hopefully, Jessica can win. Yeah, I don't. That's the funny thing. Kind of like what's that guy's the other one? The church guy, the guy that freaking hey bent Sage Northcutt, just like him, Paige Van. I believe they were just UFC thought they could squeak through with some pretty faces and put them against not so good competitors. That sure as hell didn't work out for him at all. Not to mention, Paige keeps doing all these Reebok ads on YouTube, and those are just lame as shit. I don't know why UFC doesn't tell her to stop. Yeah, Sage. There you go. Um, but other than that, the main thing for me is I'm excited for UFC 215, even though it's quite a bit of hoopla around that. As you guys know or may not know, JDS failed failed a drug test, and he's out. Um, Francis Ngannou, I don't even know how to say his last name. Their UFC was trying to find a fight for him. They couldn't, so now he's off the card. But I do know Amanda Nunez and Valerie, whatever the hell her last name is. I know they're still fighting, um, which is supposed to be a good fight. But yeah, other than that, that's the main topics in which I wanted to run through. Other than that, now we can just free flow it. Let's get some questions and see what you guys think. Yeah, no one would take the fight, Daniel. Um, I'm guessing because he's still so new. Um, the obvious top five, because let's be honest, heavyweight doesn't have a top 10. Um, I'm betting no one wanted to fight for the with the money that was offered for that fight. Uh, yes, came off that big loss. He wants to get back into title contention, but obviously he's looks like he's probably going to be retiring because he doesn't have too many years left in the form. Nick, has TJ Dillashaw fought lately? I haven't been caught up. He's actually him and Cody are going to fight. I believe. I want to say UFC 216, but I'm going to go ahead and check, and I'll let you guys know when they're going to fight, because I do know for a fact that their next fights will be against each other. It looks like they're going to be fighting at UFC 217 on November 4th. TJ Dillashaw and Cody No Love Garbrandt. Uh, Daniel, I say Francis versus Kane. I think Kane is still bedridden from his surgery. I do know that UFC wouldn't let him fight until he had gotten the surgery. But yeah, I think that I see even then. I think Cain Velasquez is way better than Francis, and I think that it would be a slap in Kane's face if they tried to make that fight. To be honest with you, because I, I I still put Cain as top three. It's been a while since he's fought, but when he did fight, it was crazy. Um, I'd like to see a shit. I think everyone wanted to see John Jones go to fucking heavyweight, but we all know that's not going to happen. That Daniel, that would be a good fight. Derek Lewis versus Francis. That would be a really good fight, actually. I think after Derek Lewis's last fight, he said he wanted to take a break, or I think he actually broke a rib or something like that. Remember his little "I have to go take a dump" comment at the end of that end of his fight? He actually broke a rib. That yeah, that Daniel again, another great fight. Kane versus Shrew. That would or Stipe, my bad. Yeah, that'd be a really good fight. I personally, I think they should stop putting on all these heavyweight title fights. I don't think there's anybody ranked high enough to even go against Stipe. I think Excuse me. I think if anything, the UFC needs to stop looking for all these little guys and the girls divisions. I think they need to recruit some heavyweights. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the pick of heavyweights they have, but honestly, between what 5 guys, it's the heavyweight division. It's a joke. He is funny as shit. Daniel said the Black Beast is a funny dude. Nick, you do know John Jones? He could go fight overseas. He could be some some Russian world champion or something. But John Jones, he's done. There's no way in hell he's coming back. I couldn't imagine what in Sam hell would be a good enough reason or excuse for UFC to bring him back. And the crazy part is the test he failed was that card was the first time Sada thought, whatever the fuck they're calling themselves nowadays. It was the first time they had actually tested out a new test that they were bringing out. You know, like a chemical compound test that tries to fight everything else. Daniel, John Jones to Bellator. Well, he definitely won't be for the next 4 years. He could fight for Bellator. Now, he tested positive, and that fight was in what? It was in Vegas, right? Pretty sure, yeah, Vegas. No, I'm sorry. Here in California, it was Anaheim. Um, the way the testing and the commissions work. So John Jones failed here in California. Therefore, technically, he's only banned in California. But what happens is it's kind of like all the all the commissions kind of work together. Um, so John Jones could go to Bellator and could go fight in New York theoretically, but I'm doubting that any other commission would allow him to. Um, he could sign with Bellator and fight on all their overseas cards. Um, but the problem with that is that it'll put a black eye on Bellator, kind of like they're saying it's okay to take steroids. So John Jones to Bellator, not for another 4 years. John Jones is 30. 4 years out of the cage. I don't think that'd be a good idea for him anyway. Not to mention, I wouldn't doubt it if the UFC has like a 20-year contract on him saying he can't ever go to Bellator. Because you got to remember, why wouldn't he go to Bellator when he was banned for 2 years? Coming back, he didn't have a contract then. Nick, John Jones to WWE. Honestly, I don't think he'd do well there. As in, I don't think the fans would allow him to would respect him, and I don't think the respect they wouldn't give him, or the disrespect, sorry, would. I think the disrespect would be too much for John Jones to even be a villain in the WWE. Or, since let's go into Nicholas Land, and let's say John Jones, he knew the whole time he was going to fail for that test, and that's why he called Brock Lesnar to fight in the WWE. Now, there's a good conspiracy for you, Nick. That's how you do it. That's how you string those along, buddy. Daniel, John Jones. Daniel says John Jones has never lost except for Matt Hamill made John Jones elbow. Okay, let's get one thing straight. I don't think the UFC, Dana White, or anybody who's ever watched John Jones fight or saw that fight thinks that John Jones has ever lost. That was the weakest crap I've ever seen. And then not only that, if you go and watch like fake injuries or something, MMA fake injuries, that clip is actually in it because those elbows, that was crap. Those were maybe two were illegal, but the rest were legal. And I'm sorry, I hate to say it, and it's gonna sound pretty dick, but Matt used his deafness for his advantage in that situation. Otherwise, I don't think it would have went down that way. I could care less what Brock does, especially when it comes to the wrestling, fake ass wrestling. It's so gay. Oh man, we're not doing this. I'm not. We're not talking about the fake ass wrestling. I can't handle that. This is too much. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't know how many times he's left wrestling, but he needs to stay there or go home, drink a Bud Light to piss off Bud Weiser. I don't fucking know how that works. Fucking exactly. Hashtag very gay. The only upside to it is whereas everyone has to figure out what MMA fights are fixed. At least we know all those ones are fixed. And I'm hoping CM Punk takes at least another, let's say, 10 years before he decides to step into a cage. That 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 was a black eye on the UFC in itself. As far as I'm concerned, he had no place. Even Lesnar had MMA fights outside of the UFC before he fought for the UFC. Well, I'm gonna let you guys chat away on your wrestling. We'll go into something more manly. Um, when TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt fight, who do you guys got in that? Because we do know for 100% fact that Cody knocked out TJ in sparring. Now TJ won't admit it, but on this one, I actually have an inside source who says it did definitely 100% happen. I'm not talking, MMA analysts or fighters with a grudge. I'm telling you for a fact, TJ got knocked out during sparring for sure. Now, the way I see it, TJ, as far as his last fight, Cody's definitely gonna win. Now, if can TJ can fight like he did against um, damn, that was a long time ago. Who did he fight? Damn, all these names right on the tip of my tongue. Thank God for Sure Dog. Thank you, Sure Dog. Henan Barrow. There we go. He fought. If he can fight Cody like he fought a Henan Barrow, which he hasn't since Henan Barrow. Let's just get that out the way. Um, I I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think TJ has a chance. I think Cody's gonna mess him up pretty good. Um, yeah, he definitely has not looked the same since Dominic Cruz. Since losing to Dominic Cruz, Daniel, Cody beat Dom. Dom beat TJ. Yeah, Dom. I'd say I think Dominic Cruz won the TJ fight based on who he was and his time off and judge love is what I call it. Um, but Cody definitely beat Dominic Cruz with just took everything Dominic Cruz was used to be and threw it in his face and whipped his ass for 5 rounds. It was, I'm sorry, 4 rounds, but who cares about the first round? Um, it was, I've never seen anybody fight against Dominic Cruz the way Cody did and handle him that way. Daniel, TJ hasn't been the same since McGregor called him a snake in the grass. Oh, TJ hasn't been the same way before that. Um, since he lost to Dominic Cruz, uh, that's when TJ, the downfall of TJ appeared. I honestly don't think, I don't know if him and Dwayne Ludwig are still training together, but all footwork, feints, everything that TJ was doing against Hidden Barao, it's like he forgot it all. He honestly looks like he did before he left Team Alpha Male. Cody is Cody Garbrandt. He's definitely a very emotional fighter. Unlike all the other fighters, though, I honestly think he feeds off that. I think where guys get personal with it or they let their emotions get the best of them, they lose fights. I honestly think that if Cody doesn't have some kind of turmoil with his opponent, I think that's his downfall. I think he has to have that. Nick, who's Daniel Cormier fighting next? I have no clue. I don't think there's even talk of who he would fight until they figure out what's up with John Jones and if he's gonna lose. Well, until John Jones loses the belt and it's handed back to Daniel Cormier, I don't think anything about him fighting is gonna come up. I don't even think he knows what he wants to do right now. Um, Daniel, I think TJ felt overtrained at Alpha Male. Um, actually, Daniel, I know for a fact. Again, I have an inside MMA source that does train up there. Um, what happened was basically, uh, freaking hey, these names. Uriah Favor, um, he's a businessman, and he's also uh, probably one of the best um, scouts for fighters. When TJ won the belt or was training to get the belt, he definitely wasn't getting the same attention that he was before when he was what you would consider a nobody, I guess. Um, was the main reason he went and started fighting with or started training with Dwayne Ludwig. Uh, I know I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they're still training together, but I don't think it's that always together, always training together thing anymore. That's why I think I think that's what TJ's downfall is. I don't think he's 24/7 fighting or training with Dwayne anymore. Tyrone Woodley. Who's he gonna fight next, Nick? I don't know. I rumors are GSP. Um, Dana White kind of hinted that he wasn't going to get that fight because of how boring The last one was, and GSP can make a boring fight too. Uh, so I'm not 100% on Woodley GSP yet. I kind of gotta. I really haven't heard anything from Bisping yet. Um, but see, then again, Bisping's hurt. Um, the guy he was fight, the new guy, Daniel GSP versus Bisping. I hope not. Um, for one reason, uh, GSP or Bisping's a great fighter. Obviously, he's getting up there. He definitely should be thinking about how many more fights he has left. Now, here's the bad part about it: GSP will make it a boring fight against Bisping. Come on, Daniel. Bisping's been around for how long now? Like 12, 13 years? Let the man have his belt. Personally, he should have retired after he beat Luke Rockhold. That's just me. But I don't think he has much of a chance against a lot of those top tier guys, which is why I think the UFC has been giving him the the fight picks rather than rankings. Woodley just need to change it up a little. What do you mean, Nick? As in change up what? Against who? Because the what he did against Damian Maya was exactly what he wanted to do. He had no plan on engaging. He had no plan on ever hitting the ground. Daniel Woodley shouldn't change shit. He can't be beat that way. Um, I don't believe that is so, Daniel. Um, I believe that Woodley could definitely make every fight he does have boring to make sure he wins. But let's say he did fight GSP. GSP's takedown is 100 times better than Damon Maya. You saw Woodley shrug 24 takedowns off, but of a guy who just recently started doing takedowns well. Daniel and Woodley threw his shoulder out. Definitely did throw his shoulder out, but I mean he knew it wasn't going to be a puncher's fight. He knew that for sure. He knew exactly what Damon Maya wanted. He wanted to get it to the ground and take his back. Nicholas closed Damon Maya's eye in the first round. He did, but I don't think that had anything to do with it. I've seen Damon Maya with both eyes swelled shut, still going forward. Damon Maya is a beast. Um, I wish he would have won. I would have loved to have seen him being champion. If anybody in the UFC deserves it, it would have been him. Especially because he got screwed over um, in so many ways. He won 7 straight, and then instead of getting a full camp, Woodley said if the only way he'd fight him is if he fought him, and when they did, and that only gave Damian Maya 4 weeks of training. Daniel, have you seen GSP go for submissions? He doesn't know how to finish. Uh, I think. Well, you also got to remember GSP isn't a jiu-jitsu player. He's not even an athlete really. Um, Taekwondo, karate, uh, the jiu-jitsu he knows, wrestling is he all learned as you know, while he was in the UFC. Actually, I think he knew karate and a little bit of taekwondo, minimal jiu-jitsu when he was in his amateur status, but he didn't start really doing wrestling and all that. If you watch his earlier fights, he actually was very subpar. Um, I guess he just really learns uh, the art that he chooses very well. That's the thing. I think Woodley would be Nick. I think Woodley would be great if he tuned himself perfectly into certain tactics. I Woodley is great without that. The problem with Woodley is he's really smart. So he knew instead of I can knock him out, I'm faster, I'm stronger. He knew as long as I don't let him take me down, he'll win. And why GSP? He doesn't. GSP would, or I'm sorry, Daniels asked. So why would GSP take Woodley down? Um, Easy. I I believe that GSP's wrestling is better than Woodley. Um, I believe he doesn't want to get hit by Woodley. Woodley wouldn't have the opportunity to, to do the same fight with GSP. GSP would take it to him, and they would definitely be swinging. Oh yeah, definitely. Always room for improvement. But it's two double-edged swords. Woodley's a great fighter. Uh, I guess some most would say he's too smart because you see all these guys just going and bleeding and breaking hands and stuff. And Woodley, they sat down and were like, "What do we need to do to beat Maya? Don't let him take you down." All right, that was the game plan, and he stuck to it. Um, I don't think GSP would even fight Woodley. Woodley would fight GSP. Woodley has been calling for GSP since he actually got the belt. Um, he knows GSP was considered one of the greatest uh, title holders, and he wants to beat him so he can become one of the known as that. Um, Now GSP, I think he would fight Woodley, but if you're going to give him, if you're going to put Bisbing and Woodley up, who do you think he would pick? Uh, I don't think GSP is here to you know be back. I honestly think he has a lot of people in his ear talking about the Hendricks fight, which he should be embarrassed by, considering Hendricks can't even make 205. Uh, um, but yeah, he wants Bisbing. He thinks Bisbing's an easier fight. Daniel laugh out Tyrone was walking around with a backpack on. Um, Woodley knew he had to keep it off the ground, keep it standing up. But I think he did that, and I honestly think he did that, and probably did a lot of jujitsu with guys on his back just for that fight. Um, but if he can't take you down, how you don't have to worry about that. Daniel Hendricks heavyweight? No. I believe the UFC is getting ready to cut him. Um, he tried making 170. Well, you remember he tried making 170 after the fight and after the GSP fight and missed. He recently tried to do 185 and he missed there too. I was using 205 as a funny reference. I'm pretty sure Hendricks is either cut or getting cut. Um, but like I said, um, what is his name? Let me find it. I'm going on Sherdog real quick. Again, thank you, Sherdog. So don't get all mad at me for showing your shit. Yeah, let me trying to remember the guy's name that's supposed to fight Bisbing. Oh, okay. Okay, so I got it back. So between Michael Bisping, uh, Whitaker, and GSP and Woodley. So Whitaker's out still. He injured his knee against Roland Romero. Bisping's still out with it from his surgery, which he completely fucked up when he was overseas. Um, and then GSP is actually was when they called the GSP Bisping fight. Dana White in the UFC decided not to let everyone know that he was injured. He actually had a scratch on his eyelid or something like that, on his eyeball, so he couldn't fight. He wouldn't even be able to fight until the end of this year. That's why they were saying at the end of the year, and everyone was like, "Why so long? Why did you have the press conference without signing anything?" But that was the reason why. I think the UFC wanted to do the hype train. And then when they made GSP look like an asshole because he couldn't give him a date when he'd come back, when he'd be able to fight. But the whole time the UFC knew he wouldn't be able to fight till the end of the year because of the injury. But like I said, right now I think now that the Conor saga is over, the UFC needs to go back to ranking fights rather than these pay-per-view fan pick type fights. I mean, yeah, some of them are great, but when you really think about it, it's just all a shit. Because it just makes the UFC look like a shit show. Um, Makes it look ridiculous. It makes the belts look useless and pointless. But what can I say? It's the new era of the UFC. That's how they roll now. I don't believe. I don't believe they're gonna go back to the old ways. I think they will in a few of the divisions, but over the long run, I just don't see it happening. Uh, as far as I'm concerned, their money. It's for money now. They're trying to make up the money that they spent buying the UFC, and of course Dana White's sitting pretty on millions and millions of dollars. And with that, folks, I am done talking MMA. Um, I will be going over UFC 215 and UFC 215 only, uh, probably Thursday. Let me find out when it is so I know exactly. UFC 215, September 9th. So I will definitely be going over it again way before, probably a couple more times. But other than that, guys, I'm all MMA'd out for the moment. So Nick, Daniel, random people who were watching but didn't say anything, thank you very much. Um, like, subscribe. If you have any ideas or questions or anything for next stream, please put them in the comments. I will read them, and will address them in my next stream. But for now, thank you guys for showing up. Peace out.